Welcome to Films and Stuff with your hosts, Pete Mitchell and Ethan Hunt.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Films and Stuff. As you can tell by my enthusiastic voice, I'm Ethan, joined by the ever-present Pete. Hey, Pete, what's up today?
Not much, buddy. How are you? Everything okay?
Everything is great. We are back for a new episode of Films and Stuff. And not only that, it is our weekly stream or skip segment. The rules, very much like they sound. We decide whether to stream or skip something. Pete, usually I let you do the summary in 15 seconds or less. You can have 20 seconds this episode if you want to dive into what are the rules and how we assign our projects.
Absolutely. So Ethan and I have prepared lists of TV shows and movies for each other to watch. We watch at least 2 episodes if it's a TV series, 30 minutes if it's a feature-length program, and on the basis of that, we determine if the show is worthy of being streamed or skipped.
Well done. I am on Netflix this week. You have assigned me something called Kleo, and it's spelled with a K, K-L-E-O. And listeners will know a little bit about the background of this because you initially assigned it to me, then you withdrew it, and then it was back on my list, correct?
Yes, that's right.
And the reason for that, I think, well, you know it best, but you thought, oh, this looks interesting. It's on Netflix. You didn't realize that it was in German. You meant to do me a favor. You were going to, take it off. But I said, not so fast, my friend. I'm more than happy to watch this, which is now up to 2 seasons on Netflix, by the way.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
Yeah. Let me give you the synopsis. This is taking place, I guess, kind of like pre-Berlin Wall. So that would be kind of like the early 80s, it seems, right? So it's during the Cold War. There is an East and West Germany, and there is let's call her a secret agent or an assassin who is, I don't know, instructed to, do kind of certain assassinations. She carries out her assassination, and she wants this to be her last assassination. Then she discloses to her boyfriend, who is also her handler, that she is pregnant. She wants to get out of the assassination game, and through a series of events, she has been wronged and betrayed by her agency, and now she is going on a killing spree as a means of revenge. I watched 2 episodes, which is the bare minimum for a streamer skip, and I have to say, I kind of liked it. It's in German. It has subtitles. All of the cast is, I would say, for the most part, European, as you would expect. But I have to say, I actually quite liked the series. I like the titular character named Kleo, who's a actress named, I hope I pronounce this correct, Jelle Haas. She's fantastic, I have to say. She is German. She was born in Berlin. She's got a great, I guess, like IMDb profile, although a lot of it is foreign films or smaller parts in, to be honest, films that I don't know very well. But it has a pretty good bio, and she carries this off quite well. To fast forward to the point, I have given this kind of somewhere in between a mooch and a skip. I left it on as a mooch, and I think that if you are a German speaker, you will really enjoy a quality Netflix show. I think if you're not a German speaker and you don't enjoy subtitles, you will think that this is kind of meh at best, even though you may like the characters, you may like the plot, you may like the production value. I kind of like the setting. I mean, we don't see a whole lot of kind of German-based films, right? I mean, that's a little bit unique no matter what platform you subscribe to. So that's something a little bit off the beaten path, and it's nice to see something that's not London, New York, Chicago, and so forth, right? I have given this a mooch but I think that's largely dependent on your position towards subtitles and especially German language TV shows. But overall, I have to say, like, I had a pretty good impression. And if I saw this on an airplane, which is lately my litmus test, I would probably go in and watch maybe one or two more episodes to see kind of where it goes. But given how much other content is out there, not likely to continue and finish the season.
Okay.
So that is Kleo on Netflix.
Okay, well, I'm going to give it a go because I like foreign language
Yeah.
stuff and I do like subtitles, or at least I don't have a problem with subtitles. So that works for me. And you're absolutely right. I can't remember the last movie we saw probably A Bridge of Spies was the last thing I saw where we're talking about a Berlin era or Cold War era Germany anyway.
Yeah, I feel like there's one or two more TV series that are based in Berlin, but it's very rare to see kind of like a German-based show, right?
Right.
The one I'm thinking of is this old show with J.K. Simmons. Why do I get him confused with J.K. Rowling? It's this old show with J.K. Simmons. Did you ever see this?
Which one?
Counterpart. It's coming to me now. So apparently somehow in like Nazi Germany, they discovered this thing underneath the city. And there's like basically like two different universes. And this tunnel underneath Berlin goes from one universe to the other. J.K. Simmons and his agency, like very limited, are aware of this. And there's also some like nefarious people on each planet. It's like Earth. There's like a very happy, sun is shining, all disease is cured kind of Earth. And then there's like our current Earth, right? With all its problems, pollution, crime, things like that, right? So there's like a black market between the two different Earths where people can, use this tunnel to go back and forth and smuggle things. So for example, if you say like the cure for cancer, there would be like a black market for, someone to smuggle out that cure and then sell it to the current Earth, that's struggling with some of these things, green technologies, other things. And then, of course, there's bad guys who are saying, hey, we don't have any disease. I want to kill my enemy. Smuggle me in a disease or something, right? So there's this tunnel that is leading between the two different Earths. And J.K. Simmons is like the agent who has like some responsibility for kind of like tracking down counterparts on each side. Worth watching, actually.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. I've never heard of this, and it sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm doing not a great job of explaining it, only because it's been so long since I've seen it. But it's J.K. Simmons. I don't think I know anyone else in it, but if you can, so take a look at it because I really liked it. I think it was only 2 or 3 seasons, but it's actually quite decent.
I'm in. This sounds awesome. It really sounds right up my street.
So that's how I thought about Kleo. But in any case, Kleo for me is kind of between a skip and a must subscribe. I am personally going to skip it, but as you mentioned, if you do like foreign language, you don't mind subtitles, this could be a mooch.
Okay, perfect. I'm in. I will give it a go.
Okay. Pete, that's my streamer skip. What did you have this week?
I had Gray. Okay, so this is where it gets complicated
This
already.
is where it gets complicated already.
Depending on where you are, Gray is either going to be available to you on Amazon Prime, Paramount Plus,
Oh, geez.
or Netflix.
For me, it's Amazon Prime.
For me as well, but it's also available on Netflix, and that's how I saw it because Amazon Prime sucks.
I love it when you go crazy on Amazon Prime.
So,
Gives me so much pleasure.
So again, your mileage will vary. It depends on what region you're in.
Mm-hmm.
And the premise is that we find out that there is a sub-organization within the CIA called Cerberus. And it's called Cerberus because there are 3 bosses or 3 heads to it. They're able to do like super secret missions without interference or without accountability to anybody else, as long as all 3 members of Cerberus agree to those missions. Right? So typical spy agency premise so far.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then, of course, you find out that a bunch of CIA agents are getting killed,
Right.
and we don't know who's doing it. And it's clear that there's a mole in Cerberus.
Right.
And to find out who the mole is, the three heads of Cerberus decide to go in and bring back an ex-agent who's on the run. And the ex-agent is on the run because she was accused of killing her former boss in the CIA.
Right.
She was found by, unsurprisingly, her former boss's daughter, who is now working for the CIA.
Makes it complicated.
Complicated, but in the sense that it's also the most cliched setup that we've seen, right? Because this is all stuff that we've kind of seen. Somehow the person who got murdered, their child is somehow involved in getting this person back to justice and so forth. The
Yep.
usual.
Yep.
The quote unquote twist in this is that one, the daughter doesn't believe that this agent actually killed her father. That's the first twist. The second thing is this agent is a 65-year-old woman.
In real life.
Yeah. But even in the show, like she's not shown
Yeah.
as like a young woman. She's shown as someone who's playing her age. She's Cornelia Gray, played by Patricia Clarkson. Now, some of you will remember that name from, a couple of movies. She's played, I don't want to say bit parts, but she's played a very good supporting role in a lot of other shows.
I remember her from like Justin Timberlake videos, really. Right? She's in all the Lonely Island.
Yeah, exactly.
Mother Lover, right?
Exactly. And then also, I think in a Stanley Tucci and Emma
Oh, yeah.
Stone movie, I can't remember. I think it's called Easy A, but I can't remember. Something like that.
Yeah.
But the point is that you'll know her by face if you don't recognize her by name. Patricia
Absolutely.
Clarkson, very good. So there's a couple things that I really liked about this show. One, it's very slow paced, but in a good way. It's methodical. And what they're doing is they're not making her like Bob Odenkirk in Nobody, which is to say an older person who all of a sudden can take on anyone 30 years her junior and who's like this physically capable super spy agent. None of that. So, we're not seeing a 65-year-old woman who's like an apex predator, similar to what we saw with Allison Janney.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Right? So what they're doing is they're playing to her strength. She's cold. She's calculating. She's very manipulative. Think of her as like the Jason Bourne of the mental world. She's
Mind
really
tricks.
good at extracting
Yeah.
information. She's very good at manipulating people, but she doesn't use her like physical assets or physical aspects rather to do that, because I think no one would buy Patricia Clarkson punching out a 25-year-old and succeeding in that fight. It sounds silly, but it's very effective. It's very effective because there's a couple of weird things that she does. First of all, for 65 years old, she is incredibly
She looks
physically
great.
fit, and she looks
Yes.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And there's
She
a
looks
couple of scenes in
fantastic.
this which I thought were gratuitous for the sake of gratuity. I didn't know why they put it in there, where she's kind of lying in bed wearing just like a silk negligee.
She's just like frolicking for
Yeah,
herself,
kind
right?
of. And like lingerie and nothing else. And it's just,
Yeah.
it's weird. But there is another scene where she's using her sexuality to get the better of another agent. And that makes sense, It makes sense in the sense like,
I don't know.
no, it makes
Yeah.
sense in the sense of that's who she is. I'm not saying it makes sense in terms of it's a 65-year-old woman who's kind of taking down a much younger man. That's not what I mean. I mean, it makes sense in the sense like those are the tools that she has available to her. So I thought it was very good. Here's the kicker. I saw all episodes. I think there were
Whoa, you finished it.
7 or 8. I think 8 episodes. I finished the entire series. Now, 2 episodes in, I sent you a message and said I was all in.
Yeah.
I thought this was a must subscribe 2 episodes in because I thought it was really good. Even though the premise was a bit cliched, it was really good. I finished the series and I downgraded it to a mooch.
Yee.
It's not a
Start
bad thing.
strong.
It starts incredibly strong. They've set it up for multiple seasons. I think we're going to see a season 2. I don't know, but I expect that we'll see a season 2. It's a strong show. It's just that it kind of, I think it would have been better if it was 2 episodes shorter. They stretched it out a little bit because we're all trying to figure out who the mole is. But it was just like one twist too many, and it just took a little too long to get there, and it felt a little underwhelming. But look, it's a good show. I really think
Yeah.
I recommended it to my dad. He loves these kinds of shows.
Oh,
And
okay.
I still think that you should finish it. I know that you've started or you've watched a few episodes. I still think you should finish it so that we can have a more nuanced discussion about it. And if we think we're going to see a second season. But I would just say that for me personally, I thought that it went on 2 episodes too long.
I mean, you did send me a message and you said that you really, really loved it, which encouraged me to watch it. I mean, a few things I liked and didn't like about this. The old CIA espionage genre has to really be something that you like, because I
Yeah.
feel like this is very, very heavy in the kind of ugly side of that bureaucratic beast, whether you like it or not. Like, if you're not into, kind of politics, if you're not into, those agencies, I think you'll find it a little bit revolting because, again, it is three very self-interested, not particularly qualified people who seem to have impunity to kill, shoot, kidnap, kind of do whatever it takes for the quote unquote greater good, right? If you're not into that, I think you're going to find that aspect of it a little bit revolting. And there is a lot of very subtle intrigue. I mean, you mentioned obviously, that the character Cornelia Gray is an expert at kind of like manipulation and extracting information. Some of that is very, very clever. Some of it is very, very slow burn. So, if you're into the subtleties of how information can be carefully extracted, you will like it. If you're like, man, like I wasted a whole episode just to watch this person do this thing so that they could get this person to confirm this small piece of information, I think you'll walk away a little bit disappointed. And then it cannot be ignored that, I mean, Patricia Clarkson, again, looks fantastic. I mean, I don't think that there's really anyone who can say if they would look like that. I mean, more, this sounds like so silly, but like her face looks very good, right? I mean, she's still pretty, but no one thinks that she's 40 years old, right? Based on her hair and her skin, But like, if they only showed her body, you could believe that she was late 30s, early 40s. Like, she does look extremely fit and fantastic. And I kind of feel like this is either her self-produced show-off piece, or it's, her, I don't know anything about her personal life. If she's got a wealthy husband who's like showing her off, or if it's just kind of like, this ode to herself, because it seems like there's so much gratuitous focus on her body that it's not accidental, It's a little bit strange at times. I mean, you mentioned her like just wearing like a negligee, kind of like rolling around on the bed, like just frolicking by herself. I mean, it was strange. It didn't have anything to do with the movie, right? So, I mean, she should either be the very, very serious CIA agent that she is, and she plays that role kind of like very no nonsense quite well, or not. But I have to say, I thought that overall production value is good. The writing value is good. I mean, the cast is great. A lot of good intrigue, and it's written very, very tight. I think it really depends on if this is your type of, CIA political thriller.
Exactly.
If this is your type, you will like it. If not, I think you will find it, very, very dull and miscast with a 64-year-old lady.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. That's the right caveat. So I know that my dad, for example, likes these kinds of things. I figured you would enjoy it only because of the same reason, because neither of us are averse to slow burns.
Yeah.
If it's well done, the payoff is great.
Yeah.
So I thought that this is something that you definitely would want to be involved in. So, and I expect that, I don't know if you're going to find this to be a must subscribe by the end of it, but I think this is going to be a strong mooch regardless.
Yeah. The only thing that I have to say from like a plot perspective that turned me off a little bit, the idea of Cerberus, I think, was very good. The 3 different heads of Cerberus, I thought were a little bit disappointing in how much like personal BS they brought to their jobs, right?
Yeah, but that's how these shows always are.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, none of them seem competent that way.
There's 2 men and a lady, right? And they've all got their personal issues, right? And this is supposed to be all in the name of national security. And they find that they're kind of hopping, making a lot of, very important decisions based on, some personal factors. And that's, I think, potentially a little bit off-putting, if you take these things seriously.
Yeah.
But that being said, we do absolutely expect a second series. Patricia Clarkson will then be 66 years of age. It said that according to the story, she was in hiding for 20 years. So that means she kind of left the agency when she was in her mid-40s, which actually tracks. I mean, that actually kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is The Grey, which I saw on Amazon Prime. You saw on Netflix, right?
I had to access it through other means, but yes.
Other means. Okay. Pete, streamer skip next week. What are our assignments?
So next week, you are returning to Apple TV, and you will be watching a show called Criminal Record.
All right.
And I am going to be on Netflix officially, and I will be watching a show called Baby Reindeer.
Oh, it's got a lot of press.
It has gotten a lot of press, and we will talk about it next week. I've done a little bit of research into that press.
Okay, that's a good teaser. All right, well, I'm looking forward to what looks to be a British cop drama named Criminal Record, Apple TV Plus. Apple TV's always got a pretty good track record, so let's see where that leads us.
Absolutely.
Pete, do you want to reiterate our social media and YouTube jazz so that people can give comments on what they thought about Grey, what they think about Patricia Clarkson, what they thought about Kleo, and German language, Berlin-based Cold War spy dramas?
You heard the man. The easiest thing you can do to get in touch with us is tweet at us at F&S Podcast, DM us on Instagram at Films and Stuff Podcast, or leave a comment below, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and all that YouTube jazz.
Indeed. Pete, listeners, thank you for a great stream or skip episode. We shall hear you all next week on the next episode of the Films and Stuff Podcast. Thanks all.
Thanks, Ethan. Thanks, everyone.
Bye now.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Films and Stuff. If you haven't already, please subscribe and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever podcasts are downloaded. Films and Stuff. There is no substitute.